A group of friends reuniting for their high school reunion, only to be stalked by a mysterious killer. The story begins with the friends arriving at a remote mansion, owned by Ray, one of the group members. The mansion is spacious and secluded, providing the perfect setting for their pre-reunion gathering. The friends include Gabby, a former ice hockey player, Brad, an aspiring musician, Jade, a reality TV star, Freddie, a sports agent, Lamont, a former football player, and Ashley, a successful businesswoman. The group hasn't seen each other in years, and the reunion brings a mix of excitement, nostalgia, and unresolved tensions. As they settle into the mansion, the friends reminisce about their high school days and discuss their current lives. However, the mood shifts when they receive a call from Ray, informing them that he is running late and will join them later. Unbeknownst to the group, Ray has already fallen victim to the masked killer, who is lurking nearby. The evening progresses with laughter and games, but the atmosphere takes a darker turn when the friends start discovering eerie messages and disturbing clues. The first sign of trouble comes when they find a photo of their high school yearbook with the face of their classmate, John Doe, crossed out. John was an outcast who was bullied and humiliated by the group during high school, and his tragic death after graduation has always haunted them. The tension escalates when Freddie goes missing while exploring the mansion. The friends split up to search for him, growing increasingly anxious as they fail to find any trace of Freddie. In the midst of their search, they stumble upon disturbing decorations and bloodstains, suggesting that something sinister is at play. Gabby, who has taken on a leadership role within the group, tries to keep everyone calm and organized. She urges the others to stick together and stay vigilant, suspecting that someone might be targeting them due to their past actions. However, her attempts to maintain order are challenged by rising fear and paranoia among the group. As night falls, the friends decide to barricade themselves inside the mansion, hoping to stay safe until morning. They arm themselves with whatever they can find and set up makeshift defenses, preparing for the worst. In the midst of their preparations, Brad and Ashley have a heated argument about their past relationship, adding to the mounting tension. The friends' fear turns to horror when they discover Freddie's mutilated body, confirming their worst fears. The realization that a killer is targeting them forces the group to confront their past actions and the possibility that their cruel treatment of John Doe has come back to haunt them. As they grapple with guilt and fear, they realize that they must find a way to survive the night and uncover the identity of the masked killer. They soon find that their cell phones have no signal, isolating them further in the remote mansion. The landline, which they hope to use as a backup, is dead, severing their last link to the outside world. Jade, driven by fear, suggests that they split up to search for a way out, but Gabby insists they stay together. The group reluctantly agrees, and they begin to fortify their position while keeping a watchful eye on the mansion's entrances. As they scour the mansion for weapons and secure hiding places, they continue to find disturbing messages and symbols, all pointing back to their high school days and the tragic fate of John Doe. Each clue seems to taunt them, reminding them of their past cruelty. The killer's methodical approach suggests a deep-seated vendetta, and the friends realize they are being punished for their past sins. The group's unity starts to fracture under the pressure. Brad, struggling with guilt and fear, lashes out at the others, accusing them of being the reason for their predicament. Ashley, still reeling from her earlier argument with Brad, tries to keep the peace, but her own fear and guilt make it difficult. Their attempts to fortify the mansion prove futile when the killer strikes again. This time, Lamont is lured away from the group with the promise of escape, only to be brutally murdered in a secluded part of the mansion. His screams alert the others, but by the time they find him, it's too late. The gruesome sight of Lamont's body further shatters their morale and amplifies their terror. Desperate and running out of options, Gabby takes charge, determined to find a way out. She proposes they explore the mansion's basement, hoping to find an old escape tunnel or a hidden passage. The group reluctantly agrees, and they make their way to the dark, eerie basement. The tension is palpable as they navigate the labyrinthine corridors, their nerves frayed and their senses heightened. In the basement, they find an old storage room filled with dusty, forgotten items from the mansion's past. As they search for an exit, they stumble upon more yearbook photos, each with a face crossed out and a cryptic message scrawled beneath it. The messages suggest that the killer is working through a list, and they are the next targets. Their exploration is interrupted when the killer, clad in a sinister mask resembling a graduation cap, appears. Gabby, showing remarkable courage and quick thinking, manages to create a diversion that allows the others to flee. She confronts the killer directly, engaging in a desperate struggle for survival. The encounter leaves Gabby injured but alive, buying the others precious time to find a way out. With Gabby injured and the killer still at large, the remaining friends, Brad, Jade, and Ashley, find themselves cornered in the dark, claustrophobic basement of the mansion. Their fear is palpable, but Gabby's bravery instills a renewed sense of determination to survive. The group decides to continue searching for an escape route while keeping an eye out for any signs of the killer. As they navigate the labyrinthine corridors, they stumble upon a hidden room filled with old yearbooks and personal belongings. It becomes evident that the killer has been meticulously planning their revenge for years, using the group's past actions as motivation. The room is a shrine to John Doe, with newspaper clippings and photos documenting his life and tragic death. The friends are confronted with the full extent of their past cruelty and the devastating impact it had on John. Among the belongings, they find a journal written by John Doe detailing his torment and isolation. The journal reveals that John had a talent for drawing and that he had created a comic book series depicting his classmates as villains and himself as a hero seeking justice. The drawings eerily mirror the current situation, with the killer methodically taking out each of them one by one. Realizing that the killer is likely someone who knew John well, the group starts to piece together clues from their high school days. They recall a few individuals who were close to John, including a quiet, reserved classmate named Danny who was often seen with him. Suspicion falls on Danny as the possible killer, driven by a desire to avenge his friend's death. Determined to survive and put an end to the killing spree, the friends devise a plan to confront the killer. They decide to lure the killer into a trap by using themselves as bait. With Gabby's injury making her vulnerable, she hides in a secure location while Brad, Jade, and Ashley prepare to face the killer head-on. They set up makeshift weapons and barricades, ready to fight for their lives. As they wait in tense silence, the killer appears, drawn by the sound of their movements. Brad, fueled by anger and guilt, takes on the killer directly, while Jade and Ashley provide support. The fight is brutal and chaotic, with the friends using every ounce of their strength and resourcefulness to survive. In the midst of the struggle, the killer's mask is knocked off, revealing their true identity. To the group's shock, it is not Danny, but another former classmate, a seemingly unremarkable individual who harbored a deep-seated resentment towards them. Despite the killer's ferocity, the friends manage to gain the upper hand. In a final, desperate effort, they overpower the killer and incapacitate him. The immediate danger appears to be over, but the emotional scars and the weight of their past actions remain. As dawn breaks, the survivors emerge from the mansion, battered and traumatized but alive. They are met by the police, who have finally arrived in response to their earlier distress calls. The friends provide their statements, detailing the harrowing events of the night and the identity of the killer. The authorities begin to piece together the full story, understanding the tragic chain of events that led to the massacre. They resolve to use their experience to advocate against bullying and to support those who are marginalized, hoping to prevent future tragedies like the one they endured.